I am a retired nurse of 50 years, and just recently came into a situation where my view changed. And although I've been working with patient advocacy for several years, I now see it in a different light through a different window. My husband, on October the 5th, we went in just to get a routine blood transfusion, and he developed pulmonary overload, had a heart attack, and went to ICU. He stopped breathing, and they were able to bring him back. But one of the things that he talked about was that he saw 12 windows when he did not know where he was. And he said in those windows he was trying to get out, and he kept going to different windows, was not able to get out. And I have really likened caregiving for chronic illness and acute illness as in that same situation, going from window to window, getting a different view. Because you know, in different times you can be on different floors and get a whole different view. So my view of caregiving changed, being able to watch him come all the way from not breathing ICU. When I talk about advocacy now, I say, yes, I am a witness that things do change, and they change in a minute, and they change sometimes to the best of my ability, or to the best of my husband's ability. But the caregiving is where the advocacy comes in. You can talk it, but you got to do it in order to really be a good advocate for any kind of illnesses, for any kind of care. And I liken it to self, soul, and spirit. You have to be able to look through those windows of wellness, wholeness, and also just winning the battle. When you're a survivor, it's very pointed, and you're trying to get that point. You're trying to understand how to care for yourself. But when you are caregiving for someone, you are really trying to incorporate all of the care, all of the things that their feelings. You're wondering how are they feeling about hearing this diagnosis. I know how I would feel when I hear a diagnosis, but how are they going to deal with it? So I really had to start looking at going to one day at a time, one moment at a time, and not trying to move so fast and get the information clearly so that I'm able to pass it on. I remember saying to the nurses, he said he can't breathe. And they said, oh, yes, he can. And to me, my advocacy spirit jumped up into, okay, if he says he can't, then he can't. So don't make that, and that's what you have to do. You become very protective, but knowing that you also have to be very careful with how you make comments and how you say things to people. So I always say, write down, because I love writing, and I write all the time, and I say, you must write down. You think you'll remember it, and you always have to be listening with the idea, how is that person understanding that? And that's with any care, that someone receives. You have to always look at how they understand and whether or not they understand, and how can you go back and help clarify that information.